Health Education Lecture Series. All the listeners of Health Education Lecture Series, welcome to my show. I'm your host, Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, homeopathic consultant. My clinic address is 9701 Sarah and Court, Dublin, California 94568. Phone number 408 687 1899. Email address homeomedicine at yahoo.com. Anytime, if ever you are suffering from any disease and tired of treatment at any age, please call me for your second opinion. And also, if you want to be treated by a scientific homeopathic approach for your diseases or any health concern, call 408 687 1899. I will appreciate your call and give you my best advice based on my 52 years of experience. Uh, and based on that, I was teaching in medical colleges for about 26 years. And since I'm here in USA since 97, I'm delivering these lectures for the benefit of my community so that everybody should know about the health, about the disease, and about the cure. How a person becomes sick, how a person may be cured, and what are the main points we should discuss about the cure, so that we should take those points into considerations and take control of the health again. So this is what the homeopathic philosophy teaches us, that main basic causes of the diseases, if we know, then you can think over that half of the cure we have recovered, half of the cure we have achieved. Because if you know the causes of the diseases, it means these are the main thing which has caused the disease, and now you are able to find out those causes, and now ultimately you will be able to remove those causes. Ultimately it was a part of your life, and you have gone through that, and now you can reverse it. Even if it's a drug, even if it's a even simple tea, if ever you want to get rid of that, if the tea is causing a problem, if any drug is causing problem, if anything else you are taking inside your body and causing a disease inside your system, and if you know about that one, that's not a problem to remove that one. It may take time, but ultimately you will win. So this is what we were discussing since long. And if ever you are suffering from any type of disease which is not being cured, I can help you to find it out. What are the causes behind that? And in my last lectures, I have already delivered this lecture that the causes of behind the diseases are, we have divided into three groups. The first causes are the exciting causes, which excite the disease. And when I was giving an explanation about the exciting causes, I told you that something, the ground is inside your body, which can anytime convert into disease. It's not that immediately anything grows in any soil. No, the soil is prepared for the growing of anything, any special vegetable or any vegetable and any fruit or anything. Then and only then it grows. If the soil is not prepared for that, that will not grow over there. The same way is our vitality, same way is our body and our systems. They are at the level of that they can grow, they can be affected by any exciting factors. And I have given you the explanation about that one. Suppose you know, all of you know, that the water boils at 900 degrees centigrades. And if it's 98 degrees centigrades, you will say, no, 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 water is not boiled. And anything which in your routine life, it was a part of your lives previously, in anything which can excites, which can increase that temperature from 98 to 100, only 2 degrees, that may produce disease. Just like that may boil the water, the same way that can produce the disease. And this is what the condition of our body. If ever our body is healthy altogether, and there's no such things which is over and beyond the normal limits of our medical standard, basically not medical standard, individual standard of health, you can say that, because everybody is not having the same blood pressure, everybody is not having the same respiration rate, everybody is not having same sugar level in their blood, everybody is not having a same cholesterol level in their blood. So all these things are different in individuals, but we take as a standard, as an average, at an average from all the most of the patients. You can suppose if we have collected 100 patients, and the average whatever has come up, then we will go with that, and we measure every person according to that. But that is not hard and fast rule. Sometimes it may be little lower, sometimes it may be a little higher, and we make a variation. That's why in medical standard of health we make a variations, that from this to this, if it is this to this, it's normal. If blood pressure is 110 to 125 or 30, we can say it's normal. But as an average, what we have calculated is 120. So in this way, if our body and its function, basically the function of all the systems, 9 systems inside the body, if they are working at a standard level, at the normal, and if under some condition it goes little higher or little lower, that is not considered as a disease by the medical standard of health, because there is the average. But sensitivity of the person, individual person has individual sensitivity, which means they are affected by the other influences, even with a smaller quantity, even with a higher quantity, and then they produce some adverse symptoms. Just like a person is having 110 blood pressure, 110 over 70 or something like that, and as a medical standard of health, we say, no, no, it's normal. It's normal. 110 to 125 or 30, we consider it's normal, because there is variation in all our medical standard of health. Whatever the lab tests are, whatever our measurements are to standardize the health, they have the variations. Whereas the individual variation differs from person to person. And even the person who was having 110 over 70 blood pressure all the times, and if he rises up to 120, they feel something, because their sensitivity, or because their individual standard of health remains at the level normal, remains at the level of 110, that has increased. So that's why I'm saying that the individual susceptibility, individual resistance, individual standard of health is individual of each person's. And how we can measure it, how we can consider that one, that is only whenever a person falls sick, he feels, I'm not feeling well, I'm not feeling well. And if ever at that time you go to the doctor and doctor send you the lab, and the lab test comes, oh, no, no, everything is normal, because medical standard of health is measured is as an average. At that time, there's not such adverse effects of the disease which can change your pathology, which can change your lab tests. It means they say it's normal, but even then the person is saying, who is suffering himself, he says, I'm not feeling well. And if he's not feeling well, it means something is going beyond or going above the normals, range of his standard of health, which is causing a problem for his day-to-day life, whether he's pulling or life or not. That even sometimes we are having it, even then we are working. We are having some little fever, and even then we are working. That's a different story. But actually, internally, he starts feeling whenever their internal impression of the outwardly expressions. Outwardly expression means you have taken something, you have eaten something, you have exposed to cold, you have exposed to heat, something like that. Something has happened inside your body. That influence is causing problem for your normal go of the life. And those things we have considered in our previous lecture. These are known as exciting factors. So these exciting factors are the preliminary thing. And if ever we consider all these things at the preliminary stage, we can easily find it out. We can easily find it out how it happens, what we have done wrong, what we have eaten wrong. All these things will tell you immediately that today I'm not feeling well. If you're not feeling well, what changed has occurred in your life? What changed has occurred in your day to day running of the lives? Then you can find it out. Oh, I eat something, this one. Oh, I did this thing, which was wrong. Oh, I go out without taking a proper covering from the cold and all that. So that you can immediately realize that, and then you will be able to find it out, and you will be able to eradicate that. You will take precautions for that, and ultimately this disease will not progress. This disease will come back from 100-degree temperature of water which was boiling. Your body was at the level of 98, at less than that, but something has caused, and that temperature has rises up to 100, and now you're saying it's boiling. The same thing, the physical working sensation and feelings, everything of our body was at a verge, at a level that it can turn any time at the higher level. That the boiling point means, at the higher level, and that can produce a disease. So in the primary stage, that is known as exciting factor, it's very easy for us to find out what has caused my problem. If ever I'm not feeling well, though the lab test says that you are normal, everything is in between the standards. In between the standard does not mean that it is accurate. It means it is little bit higher or little bit lower, which is considered as an average, because most of the people are normal at this level, most of the people are normal at the other level. So that's why in lab tests and the medical standard of health, it is taken as an average. But a person's sensitivity is individual, and individually, when you feel I'm not feeling well, that is the first thing. And if ever you realize at that, you study that thing, you find out the causes behind the disease, it will be very easy for you to recover, because it's a fresh incidence what has happened to your body, and you can recognize it. In this way, it's very easy. But and the second stage I told you about, that one, that we called is the maintaining causes. Maintaining causes. Maintain. Condition was there, and ultimately it was exciting your body, and it was changing your day-to-day functioning of your body. And functioning means mental and physical. Sensations and feelings and physical things, everything is changing. And sometimes, when at a lower level, you do not feel it. But ultimately, when it becomes a routine of your life, you forget that. But just I can give you one example. Normally, a person goes to a stool for 2 times in a day, in the morning time and in the evening time. This is the normal routine for every person, but sometimes it's only one time in 24 hours. But if a person has created, or it has been created by his body, his physiology, that he goes, first of all, he wake up in the morning, he goes to stool. But even then, he do not feel fresh at that time. And after that, he take breakfast, and then again he goes to, and after that he go to the job, whatever he is doing, and ultimately when he comes back, he does the same thing, go to the stool. And ultimately, in this way, sometimes after taking dinner, he again goes. But he do not consider this habit as a disease. It do not consider this habit as a disease. More than one or two or three times is, it's a normal thing. It's not, he say it's a normal thing, but normal is not normal. Normal is that what is our physiological routine of a normal body. If it is exceeding to that one, if it is decreasing to that one, it means something has happened to our body that is changing our routine. In this way, we do not consider this thing as a disease because we are addicted to that. We are habitual to that. That is why we do not consider it as a disease, and these things are known as maintaining causes. They are, you are eating something, you are living in a different kind of environment which does not suit to your body, but ultimately you are healthy and you are not responding to those things and you are feeling better, okay, but ultimately at go of life, after long distance, now the resistance of your body has decreased and is not accepting that kind of environment and that kind of food and that kind of habits, everything. Then you feel, yeah, my body is not feeling well, I'm not feeling well. And then you go to the doctor, and doctor ultimately take your symptoms, and according to symptoms he try to suppress that one. This is what going on. And ultimately his suppression will be a timely fashion, not a curative fashion, because he do not find out what is causing this thing, and he do not advise you to take these habits, these eating things away from your body. And ultimately, after a treatment, and after a treatment, when I say after a treatment, I'm saying that this body is formed in such a way, whatever goes inside the body by outside exposure from the skin, by mouth, by eating foods, by nose, inhaling the air. This means everything, environmental and food and everything. Whatever goes inside your body, our vitality is designed in a way that if ever it is unwanted thing, it is extra thing which is not required by the body, it tries to expel it out through the urine, to the stool, and also the sweating and even breathing. By any means, it tries to evacuate the body from all those notorious things which are causing the disease. Ultimately, this is considered as the time period of the medicine, what was given by the doctor to avoid your habits of going 2 3 times in the urine, 2 3 times in a stool, whatever it is, whatever the disease symptoms are. And those symptoms were suppressed forcibly by that medications, but that medication is not a normal part of the life, normal working of the life, and ultimately the vitality will try to expel it out, and ultimately it will expel it totally. And after that, the same standstill condition will come, status quo will come up of your body, and the same symptoms will come up. When you see in any disease, after a short while, after a taking course of the medicines, same symptoms are coming back time and again, it means there is some factors which are regularly regularly attached with your habits, with your eating, with your environment, whatever it is, then you have to find it out. I gave you the example. Sometimes you are living away from your home, and every day you are going to the hotel for dinner and for lunch and for breakfast and whatever, and they make spicy foods and everything, and they taste good to your tongue, and ultimately you become addicted to that, and you do take that type of food every day, and ultimately at a long run, not immediately. Uh, Suppose once in a while you go, and that does not cause any problem immediately, but sometimes people may suffer. Even one day they go to the hotels and they take spicy foods, and ultimately they suffer from some change in their life, change in the habit of evacuation, stool, urine, or whatever. But sometimes people do not feel this type of things immediately, and at a long distance, when you are continuing the same habit after a long period of time, ultimately it causes a change inside your body, inside your digestive systems, that the system does not approve this thing what you are taking now. And now the habit has become tiredness, the habit has become a frequent urging for these stools, frequent urinations, sleeplessness, and all these things later on comes up, and you go to the doctor for that one, and he will, whatever medicine he will give, his intention is to suppress those symptoms, to relieve those symptoms temporarily, not permanently. It's not permanent only until you find out the causes and you remove those causes. And but it is very difficult. Exciting factor were very easy to find it out because it is immediate. It's at the same moment, at the same day it happened, and you know that what has changed, what we have done changed from the normal routine of our lives. You can find it out, but about the maintaining color, it is very difficult. It's very difficult immediately because you are addicted to those things, and you think these are the normal things. You do not point out all these things, that this may cause the disease and these are the main causes of my disease, and I should quit all these things. I should evacuate my system, my body from all these things, because you do not consider it is a causative factors. For that, what we do, just like there is a foul smelling from one room. I'm just giving you one example of the maintaining causes. There is a foul smelling from any room, and you are unable to find it out from where this smell is coming up. Ultimately, ultimately, what you will do? You will clean this, you will clean that, and but even then the smell is still coming up. What you will do? You will take each and everything of your room out of the room, and then you will clean the room. What is in the room? Your carpet, your floor, your walls, your roof, you will clean it easily. And after that, you will bring one by one, all the stuff, you put it out inside, and then you will find out from where. Whatever you bring in, and the smell has again started. And you can find out easily from where the smell was coming, and you can get rid of that one. The same way, when you are not having immediate exciting factor for your disease, and something has become a routine of your life which is now not acceptable to your system and causing uneasiness in your systems and breaking the routine of your normal life, then this condition is known as maintaining causes. And for to find out maintaining causes, then ultimately, in spite of suppressing those symptoms, we should again survey our routine life. Are you not sleeping in time? Even this is normal thing. If you are not sleeping in time, if you are not taking 8 hours of sleep, and you are waking early and going to the job, Sometimes you are not taking care precautions from the heat or cold of the environment outside. Sometimes you are not eating properly, or you are taking spicy foods. You are going to the parties, and you everywhere you are taking spicy foods which were not your routine, and ultimately that has become a habit. Just like I told you, you are living away from the family, and you are eating every day from the hotels, restaurants, and at that time that spicy food will become a causative factor for you, which you do not normally recognize. Means when you do not recognize, just like your friend, a close friend, sometimes if that becomes enemy, then very difficult to point it out. You cannot point it out because he your fast friend. You like him, you live with him, you will not point out to him, and ultimately that is your headache, that is causing problem in your life. Same way, under these conditions, when there is a maintaining causes in any case, at that time, the same thing. Sometimes you might have heard the doctor says, "Oh, you have to change your environment. You should go to the hilly areas, or from the hilly area, you should go to the dry areas." Why they say? Because they find it out that the environment which you are living since long is now not acceptable for your body. Your vitality is not accepting that one, or the vitality is more sensitive to bear that one. Ultimately, they advise you to change that one. The same thing, what you are eating. You say it's normal routine. I'm eating everything as in the same way, the same thing. No, that was acceptable for your body previously, but nowadays, because of the some changes in your enzyme system, for the enzyme system, enzymes are prepared in the, just like the tylen is prepared in the mouth for the carbohydrates, the same way for the fat and all these things, the bile comes in from the liver. That way, for the sugar and everything, pancreas produces the insulin. Different, at different stages, different type of enzymes are produced, just as stomach and acid is produced, pepsin is produced. All they does their own duty to digest the food, but now they are not in a sufficient quantity because of some reason, or their quantity is decreased. As much quantity is required every day for your change of food. For your change of food, now you need the excess quantity of those kind of enzymes, but body is addicted to produce a limited quantity of that type of enzymes. Ultimately, what will happen? There will be a residual. There will be a residual of your food which is not adjusted, which is not digested. And ultimately, at a length of time, it will become a problem for you. Body is responsible to produce a limited quantity of your enzymes. Why you say, yeah, I overeated, I feel discomfort in the stomach? Because whatever you have taken inside, that is over and above from your normal routine of enzymes. What your body is supposed to produce the enzymes to digest a normal type of food you are taking. Now your food was excess, and the enzymes are deficient to digest those things. And the example I'm giving you, you are eating food from the hotels and all that, spicy food or from the parties and every day, then ultimately your stomach say hands are up. I cannot produce every day this excess type of enzymes. I cannot digest that one. Why? Because that your body has designed to produce every enzymes in a limited quantity. But under certain conditions, sometimes it is bound to produce excess of that one. And whatever organ is bound to produce excess of that one, ultimately that will become sick. And that will become sick, and ultimately that condition will increase. Just like you take more sugar, more sweet things and all that, continuously, and your pancreas is designed to produce insulin in a limited quantity to dissolve all that thing, to digest all those things, to metabolize all those things into normal energy. But now you are taking everyday sugar, everyday sweets, and that becomes a residual part in your intestine to be digested, to be metabolized by the pancreas, by the insulin. And the residual ultimately will produce diabetes. And now you have to find it out how to relieve that residual portion, that all those things. The first thing is the main causative factor, you have to remove that. The main causative factor means sweets, excess of sweets. But one thing here I would like to tell you again, because many things comes in my mind. Whatever food you eat, whether it is a carbohydrate, it is a fat, it is a protein, whatever you eat, when it is mixed into blood, it is converted into sugar. But the name of each product which is converted into sugar, that's a different. Just like amylase, amino acids. Suppose if you eat more protein, it is converted into sugar to be mixed into the blood. That condition will be known as amino acids. From the fat, amylase, carbohydrates. So different products of the food, when they are ready to be mixed into the blood, they are converted into sugar. But the name of each product, when it is converted into sugar, is a different name. Just like I give you the example that when you take more proteins, and when the proteins are digested and they go to the blood to be mixed up, and their name will be amino acids. In this way, every day, whatever we eat is converted into sugar, whatever form it is. It is converted into sugar. And our pancreas is designed to produce a limited quantity of insulin to metabolize, to burn it into energy, to metabolize that sugar regularly every day. And the residual, why we become fatty, why we become enlarged in body and whatever, because there is a residual portion of our food, whatever we are taking every day, and that is metabolized, but still there is some portion which is a residual, which increases our body in height and bulk and everything. From child, you become a young adult man. From after that, you start declining at age, because the residual portion is being consumed gradually, 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 and ultimately we call it senility. Under senility, every person decreases in size, in weight, in everything. In working, functioning, everything decreases, because the residual portion which was deposited inside the body, which was not metabolized, which was not converted into energy, is now being consumed. Whether you are taking the same food, but now the system has become weak. It's not taking sufficient energy products from your food, though it was equal in quantity. It was equal healthy. But now the system, after working a long time, that's called the old age. Now the system has become weak, and that is not squeezing the sufficient amount of energy out of that food. And ultimately, the residual portion of the body is used to produce a sufficient energy for the normal go of life, that is 1700 calories per hour. This type of heat is required to send the energy to each cell of there are trillions of cells, and to send the energy, food, oxygen, everything to each cell, 1700 calories are required per hour. And to produce that one, ultimately our food is the same, quantity is the same, but our system is weak as per the age is concerned. And then even with a healthy food, you are not developing your body, you are decreasing in weight, you are increasing in every emotions, everything becomes, and we say he's getting old. We say he's getting old because the system is weak, and it is not getting, just like uh, uh, the actually material, actually energy products are not squeezed or digested. It starts from the mouth. Just like we take carbohydrate, you take bread, that's a carbohydrate. You take potatoes, it's carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates are starting digestion in the mouth, because in the mouth there are salivary glands, they produce the ptyalin, and the ptyalin is competent to dissolve to metabolize the carbohydrates. And the same way, when the food goes downward, ultimately goes to the stomach, and stomach to the intestines and all that, there are different enzymes are produced, and they are capable of dissolving or digesting or metabolizing the different kind of foods. But that system becomes weak over time, and we say he is getting old. We were taking 4, 5, 6 chapatis when we were young, but when you becomes old, you take only 2 or 3, and even then you are decreasing in every function, because even from less food, the less quantity is taken up by the system, and that is not sufficient to maintain the status quo of your body. How bulky you are, how healthy you are, everything decreases in that one. So we were talking about the maintaining causes. So it's very difficult to remove the maintaining causes, because all the diseases are not chronic. All over world, if you calculate all the persons suffering from the diseases, they are not suffering from chronic diseases, only 5-10%, just like a cancer, arthritis, psoriasis. There are limited kind of diseases for which millions and dollars are spent for the research how to recover that one. But all other diseases, those are known as pseudo chronic disease, duplicate, a type of duplicate. It looks like chronic, but it is not chronic, because behind that there is a maintaining factor, and we do not point out that. We do not consider those kind of causative factors, that they may be causing this type of disease, because we are using them, we are addicted of those since long time, and they have become normal part and parcel of the times. you know just simple tea you take every day. Take tea, and sometimes it comes, oh, when I take tea, it makes acidity in my stomach. Eh? Since you birth, you are taking the tea, but now what happens? Why it's causing acidity? Because now system is not accepting that thing, that whatever you are taking, not only the tea, but everything, whatever you are taking, now the system is not accepting that, and saying hands are up now. But you do not consider this thing, you do not point out all these normal routine of eating, normal routine of habits. You are not considering them, their causative factor of your disease. That is why it is difficult to find out. And all those diseases, there is a definition. There is a definition of acute diseases. Acute diseases comes like a storm, come in a short period, increase their intensity or increased in intensity, and ultimately they go away after a short period, or they take you away with him. Just like kidney stone, immediate pain, abrupted, and ultimately that pain, someone may die with that, the pain, cannot bear that pain. And ultimately, if he bears that, after some times, that kidney stone will be relieved. That will be settled somewhere. Heart attack, just like you say that. Why there is heart attack? There is a less oxygen supplied to the muscles. Why? Because the coronary arteries are blocked somewhere by spasmodically or by some other causes, and it will take you with the disease. You will go away. Okay, means these are acute conditions of the diseases. But ultimately, ultimately some conditions becomes regular. They are not life threatening at this time, but they are become. Every day I feel pain in the muscles, every day I feel distress in my abdomen, every day I feel tiredness, every day I feel sleeplessness. These are the all routine things, and you become addicted. Yeah, I have to go to work by whatever it is. I have to take some medications and then I have to go to work. You do that. Ultimately your vital force has to suffer two powers. She has to fight with the two powers, one with that disease powers, one is the other medications. You are forcing him to do that. Your vital force surrenders. I cannot do that. You force him to give something. Okay, take Tylenol, take something and go to work. But ultimately that vitality becomes weak, and create an atmosphere inside the body that every system is become weak. Every function, if you find out from head to heel and and watch out the symptoms of each system, digestive system, urinary system, skin, the excretory systems, many other system, nervous system, muscular system, bone, everything. If you find it out, you will see they are weak as per their normal power. They are weak now. And then this condition is considered as pseudo chronic disease, means artificially created chronic disease. It's not chronic. Chronic disease, when inside the system, the changes are occurred which are irreversible. Now you cannot change or reverse those conditions which has happened inside your body. Chronic diseases. Okay. So chronic diseases grow slowly, increases its intensity, and ultimately take away, or you can say the goes away by taking the person with him. Simple language. Okay. Simple language. The person go with the chronic diseases. Ultimately they grow slowly, increase intensity, and ultimately go away with the life of the person. Those are the chronic diseases. But I was telling, all over world, most of the patient, even more than 50%, 80%, because only 5 or 10% diseases are considered actually chronic diseases. All other diseases are the pseudo chronic diseases made by our medications, made by our systems, made by our mistakes, and made by our routine, wrong routine of eating or living or everything. Those are looking like pseudo chronic disease. And behind these type of diseases, the causes are the maintaining cause, which you do not point out, because that has become your part of the life, part of the routine, and we do not consider the same thing. But in every case of pseudo chronic disease or chronic disease, we have to change the habits of the person. We have to change the eating habits. We have to change the living habits. All type of habits we have to change immediately, and after that set up a new routine for his life. Just like, doctor, what should I eat? What should I do not eat? Precautions and everything. What the doctor told you, he can only tell you if he knows about the maintaining causes. But he does not know about the maintaining causes, he cannot properly advise you. I told you, for the exciting cause, you know better because it has happened just immediately. And you know that. I was go out, there was a heat in the room and there is a cold in the outside, and I got the exposure. These are the exciting factors. Or immediately I took this thing. I was not addicted to take this thing. I took this, and now I'm suffering from acidity and all this. But for the maintaining causes, even you himself does not know what is causing this thing, because everything has become a routine of life. So under those conditions, all the patient all over world most of the patients are suffering because of the knowledge. We do not have the knowledge basically about the maintaining causes. We are deficient in knowledge, and we do not survey the things that which may cause the disease. And if we survey that one and we find it out, and then we do the same thing that I told you, that take out everything, change the total routine, eating habit, living habit, everything, change that one, irrespective of your job and whatever. No, you are not going to. Life is more precious. You have to, if you want to get rid of the disease, then you have to change that routine. Then you have to change your job. Then you have to change your eating habits and everything you have to. And ultimately, all these things which are behind your disease will be known as maintaining causes. And the third and last thing for the causative effect is known as fundamental causes. Sometimes what happens, doctor has told me to change the environment. I go to the hilly area, or from the hilly area I go to the dry areas, whatever it is. And doctor has told me to not to eat gluten food and whatever. Now nowadays very trend that gluten free, gluten free, everything. When you are taking all these things previously, now why are you are not accepting those? Why your body is not accepting those things? Because something residual has deposited inside your body, and for this kind of a food, something is changed in the food as well, and is not digested because of the enzymes produced inside your bodies are not sufficient to digest this thing, to metabolize this thing. That is why we find it out something, and then we try to guide to the patients, oh, not to take gluten foods. But actually, this is not the condition. The condition is that now our body, our body is not accepting this thing, is not producing sufficient enzymes which are required to digest things. You take egg and you suffer from pain, abdomen, and all that, because to to adjust that heavy type of proteins, sufficient enzymes are not produced to combat with the amino acids, and you suffer from these things. The same way for all type of foods. So that is the same thing, just like you say the gluten. Oh, wheat you are taking since morning. Since your birth, you are taking wheat. But now there's a no. You cannot take gluten in anything, and then you have to take the gluten free. Why? Because your body itself has been damaged, or is not producing by any reasons sufficient enzymes to dissolve that kind of food products, maybe carbohydrates, maybe fat, maybe proteins, whatever it is. The enzymes, different enzymes are required for everything, and that those enzymes are not produced in sufficient quantity. That is why ultimately this thing happens, that oh, this is what causing, and you avoid those things. In spite of correcting your system, you are avoiding those things. Okay, I will help you. I will not take this kind of food and relax. But this is not the treatment. All the things, everything, we should be able to digest. Because suppose if a human being, newborn human being, is not given wheat or all that or milk, and they are giving grass and all these things, ultimately he will start producing that kind of enzymes which can digest grass. And if you give him this kind of food, he will not digest that. And even if animal any animal and newborn animals, you start giving only milk, nothing else, you are not giving him grass and all those things, and ultimately he will not be able to produce those kind of enzymes which can digest these grass and all these things, habits. That is why when a newborn child comes, first of all he starts with the mother's milk, and after that we start with the smashed potatoes, smashed carrots, one by one we add with that one, and this body learns to produce the enzymes, different kind of enzymes, and adjust it. Every food is adjusted ultimately. But ultimately, if the body is exhausted, tired, is not producing sufficient type of enzymes with food you are taking, then it says hands are up, and it produces symptoms. It gives you indications. Symptoms means it gives you indications. So now the third kind of causes for the diseases are known as the fundamental causes. I explained many a times. Sometimes what happens? All the precautions have been taken. Whatever you find out that this may cause the disease, this is causing the disease, suppose you take it away. You are not doing it. You are not taking gluten type of things. You are not exposing to any type of exposures, any type of food, or any type of environments, whatever may cause symptoms with you. You are not taking all, you are taking precautions of everything. Isolated life, you are living like a isolated life. Even then even then you suffer from some type of diseases, or you are not living a standard life of healthy human beings. Why? I told you, just like a mother has made spicy food with the potatoes, with pickles, with bell pepper, this and that, whatever he has mixed, and ultimately you eat that. And you said, "Oh, mom, there's the excess of salt. Take the salt away." No, she cannot take that. When she made a chapati with the potatoes and all that and spices then it is now prepared. It is now prepared. And now if you say, oh, salt is excess or pepper is excess or anything is excess or anything is less, she cannot add to that. You have to maintain that. And in the same way, remember, when sperm and ovum were met in the fallopian tubes, at that time, sperm was having 23 pairs of chromosomes, out of which 22 pairs were the body chromosomes. They were just helping to construct the body of that kinds. And one pair was having X and Y chromosomes in male, in sperm head. And in the ovum, it was having the same thing, 23 pairs of chromosomes and one pair of body chromosomes, that is known as X and X, just like in the male X and Y, it has X and X. 22 pairs are just for the body chromosome. And beyond that, that's a different story. How the girls are born, how the boys are born, I declared it many times. Many times I told you that story, that this fight goes on even up to the adult age. They are fighting with each other to overcome. Girls or boys, boys or girls, girls or boys, everything happens, you know about that. But I'm not talking about the fundamental causes. At that time, whatever generation is reproduced, is reproducing, reproduces, that has, every chromosome has genes, hundreds of genes, and every gene has individual characteristics, hundreds of genes, and every gene has individual character. And those individual, just like you might have heard about the DNA, desoxyribonucleic acid. In the nucleus of the cell, there is a DNA, and its concentrated part is a ribonucleic acid. That is the part of the cell which maintains the characteristic of the forefathers, previous generations. If a mother was suffering from asthma, if a mother was suffering from TB, if a mother is suffering from diabetes, or if a father is suffering from the similar type of diseases, all those diseases are now combining in these genes, and genes are having hundreds of the chromosomes and hundreds of the genes, and then ultimately they represent their self, whatever they are having a character gained from their previous life. they are representing in your body. And ultimately, under those conditions, the only resolution or only solution is that you have to maintain according to your body. Most of the peoples do not live in a cold environment. Most of the peoples do not bear heat. Most of the peoples, even sometimes you might have heard peoples having just clones and all those, smelling better. Everybody sees they are good smelling. Yeah, there's a good smelling. But sometimes, have you heard about that when somebody becomes unconscious after smelling like that one? Yes. And those type of conditions are known as idiosyncrasy. I can just more explain this thing. uh, Symptoms of life is a sensitivity. In cold you feel cold, in hot you feel hot, spicy you feel spicy, in salty you feel salty, in sweet you feel sweet. This is the normal routine of the life, and normal level of the life. Ultimately, this is, if this becomes more aggressive in any person, all the family members are saying no, vegetable is normal in salt and normal in spices, but one says no, no, salt is less, I want to put some salt. Or the other says no, salt is more, I cannot eat this thing, this is more salt. This is known as oversensitivity to some type of substances. And sometimes this is the stage which is responsible to produce any type of disease. Oversensitivity. Ultimately, above the oversensitivity, when this is converted into physical symptoms, physical symptoms may be in all the functions of the body, just respirations, palpitations, skin symptoms, harsh, you feel itching. After taking anything, you feel itching. Or after taking anything, you feel breathlessness. Or after eating anything, you feel palpitations. Anything. All these things which are caused by immediate eating, or you can say touching anything, that is known as allergy. Most of the doctors nowadays a widely used word, allergy. These things, when any oversensitivity is responsible to produce physical symptoms inside the body, this is known as allergy by the doctors. And allergy has a acute condition which goes off shortly after that, after limited period of times, when that substance which has caused this kind of allergy has been evacuated from the body, you feel okay. That's known as allergy. But sometimes what happens, everything you eat, everything you smell, everything you go or change the normal environment, you suffer from something. That is known as idiosyncrasy. And that idiosyncrasy is not because you have specially eaten this thing, you are causing, you have taken that kind of precautions, that's why it is. No, it's not concerned with any causes. Even in the normal causes which is suitable for the other people's, you suffer from something. The normal food you are taking every day, everybody in your family is taking, but someone out of them is not. Whenever he takes the same thing, we have to prepare special food for him. We have to take special environmental precautions for him. Sometimes this kind of conditions comes in a few individuals, not everybody. Few individuals, rare individuals. That is called idiosyncrasy. And this is what I am calling the fundamental cause of the disease, because that has acquired, that has an inherited, not acquired. It is inherited from the previous generation. And now it has already mixed in your cells, in your composition, that you cannot change that. oversensitivity. Then you have to take precautions for that, for each and everything, for smell, for environment, for eating, even sound, all these things. Sometimes you might have heard that people are listening to music and they are crying. They're crying. Nothing has happened to their body. So all these things are known as idiosyncratic tint, idiosyncratic impression. So these are the fundamental causes of the diseases, and these are very few. In very few persons, this kind of conditions happens, that they are inherited with the disease type of disease producing type of enzymes or causes and all that from their parents, or he might have taken it from their parents, and ultimately from generation to generation something is going. Oh, his grandfather was having sugar, his father was having sugar, now he's having sugar. These kind of thing happens in many of the persons nowadays. You can recognize that. And these are known as fundamental causes, for which we can just maintain, we can just study those, we can just find out those, and then we have to adjust ourselves. If we want to be get rid of these conditions and want to be cured for permanently, then we have to adjust ourselves, not the medicines or anything else which can relieve us for permanently. No, not at all. It's a permanent type of condition, but it's not a sickness. It is not known as sickness, it's known as condition. Or then you have to survive with that one. So today our time is over, and as you remember, I'm delivering these lectures 1 hour every day from 5 to 6 California times, and one day is in Punjabi, one day in Hindi, and one day in English. So today was the English time, and now I'm starting a new chapter to study this body. Now, how the life was created, how he lived in mother's womb for 28 days, what was the development week to week, everything I have told you about that one, how this child was developed in mother's womb, embryo to fetus, and fetus to newborn child, and newborn child to toddler age to adolescence age to pre-adult age, or pre-adult age to now we are at the condition that this body has been formed in a complete position, complete structure. And next day, tomorrow, I will start the first lecture of the construction, formation. You can say in medical term, we say anatomy of this body, how this body is formed. So first of all, we will start with the head, and after that neck, and the neck after that the trunk means the chest and abdomen means the proper abdomen and the pelvic area. So all these I will divide in sections, so that you can understand better how this nature has formed our body and how it works. So first of all, we will start with the head tomorrow. That will be in Punjabi lecture, so that you can understand easily. If ever those who cannot understand Punjabi will learn it in Hindi, and then after that in English. So tomorrow's lecture from 5 to 6 will be about the head, how this head is formed, what it has inside that, all these things, and what is their functions, how they become sick, everything step by step I will guide you about that one. So this is Gurdeep Singh Sandhu, your homeopathy consultant. I'm here at 9701 Sarah and Court, Dublin, California, 94568. My phone number is 408-687-1899. Anytime, if you are suffering from any disease and you want to consult, or you want to take a second opinion about your disease, you can call me at 408-687-1899. Or if ever you want to be treated by a scientific homeopathic approach, then you can call me 408-687-1899. We'll see you tomorrow with Punjabi lecture, formation of head, and also it includes the head and face, including everything. So I will give you the structural formation of this one. Rab Rakha, God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Thank you.